When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouthwatering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the all-new Prologue EV, there's a lot that can impress you about it. There's the class-leading passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Thursday during an international break. It's all a bit dull, isn't it? Right, Liverpool yesterday confirmed the signing of 16-year-old winger Rio Ngumoha, is what I'm going with until someone corrects me, from Chelsea, with his transfer now ratified by the Premier League. So everybody's known that this deal was in the works, that it was going to happen. The process began in early July, but the Premier League has a 5-step review for youth signings moving between Category 1 academies. This kid, by all accounts, is one of the most talented in Europe in his age class. And it's seen as quite the coup for us to get this deal done. James Pearce has reported that financial terms are yet to be agreed with Chelsea and that most likely it will go to a tribunal who will determine the final figure. He's joining us on a scholarship deal, obviously with a view that when he turns 17, he will sign a professional contract. It may well be that said professional contract has already been agreed with his representatives, and all things considered, I think we should be very, very happy about the fact that we have this kid wrapped up. I'm just noticing he doesn't turn 17 for a year. So by doing it now, his 1-year scholarship will run out after he turns 17. So we would immediately be able to put him onto a pro contract, which I think makes a lot of sense for us. Now, there's a couple of different comps going around about him, and you can see that at under 16, under 18 level, he's head and shoulders above pretty much everybody on the pitch. And I believe, I haven't seen it, but I believe when he played for their under-21s, he looked among the best players on the pitch as well. And, you know, it doesn't tell you a whole lot, but what we do know about Chelsea is that they have a very strong academy full of extremely talented young players. So when one stands out from the crowd, it might be a bit of a marker that there's just something a little bit different about them. There is that training video going around about him as well, where there's a lot of movement. But forget what's going on with his upper body and just have a look at his feet. He is supremely gifted in terms of his close control, the quickness of touch. I'm quite excited about this for the long haul. Now, I know it doesn't help us this year. I'm not suggesting it does. But I think getting him and Alvin Ayman, who is another one that's meant to be a big-time talent, getting them done, having gotten Trainiani done last summer, suggests that, this is a new approach that we're going to take. We've obviously been doing it for a few years. I think Ben Doak would fall into this category as well, of targeting the best available young players from academies up and down the UK, and hoping that if we bring in 3, maybe one hits and becomes a first-team squad player, maybe even more than that. I think the belief within the club is that Trainiani is going to become a first-team starter at some point. And that's a way to save us significant chunks of money. And, we have a good academy of our own, but the region that our academy is allowed to take from at the younger ages is not the deepest talent pool. And you've also got the City Academy, the United Academy in that same sort of region, able to pull from the same pot of players. London is just a far deeper talent pool. So letting Chelsea, Arsenal, whoever, take on those players at 9 and develop them to 15, 16, and then being able to nick them at that point when a lot of the hard work has been done and they've sort of separated the elite prospects that could become professionals from, just the talented kids that don't quite make the grade, and then going in and taking one of the best ones. It seems like a pretty clever approach for us. And I thought Amara Nallo looked pretty good in pre-season as well. So he might be another one that can reach the first team level. And if we can start doing this every year, like we did last year, like we've done this year, where, there's 2 or 3 or maybe even more that we're picking up for £1 million, £1.5 million, maybe 2 million for some. Like, it's a really good use of funds. It's a really good use of funds. And we'll always have academy players that aren't going to make the grade at Liverpool who can be sold, and those fees can basically cover this influx of these high-profile prospects that the club see as players that can potentially reach the first team level. And Eamon, Nallo, Nyoni, and now Ngumoha, they seem to tick those boxes. There's also that kid we bought, the other kid we got from Wolves. We got him last summer. I think he's a year younger than all of these. I can't think of his name, though. He's another highly thought of defender, so we'll see if anything comes from him. But yeah, I think it's great that we're getting in these young talents, and it's another thing to be excited about. Like last season, we were all really excited when we saw Trainiani play, and then we saw him in pre-season, and we were all really excited again. And when he starts to feature a bit more in the first team match day squads, we'll be hyped about that, and we start to see him play. So like, I just think there's far more to be positive about with the club right now than there is to be negative about. I find it hard that there's anybody sitting down on the 5th of September moaning about something to do with the club. There is things to moan about in the grand scheme of things, but like the on-pitch product has been really good, like really good. We've seen 3 really good performances from Liverpool. The managerial transition seems to have gone incredibly smoothly. Now, at some point, it's going to hit a bump in the road. Arna's not going to win every single game 2 or 3-0. Be great if he could, but it's not going to happen. There's going to come a time where we play a better caliber of opposition and the games get tougher. There's going to come a time where it's not just one game a week. So the squad's going to have to be used a bit more. So like a Harvey Elliott is going to have to start a game. Darwin's going to have to start a game. Cody will have to start a game. Bradley will have to start a game. Kwanzaa will have to come back in. Gomez will have to come in. Like, the Endo will have to start a game. Like, that's all going to happen, and we'll see then how things look. But for right now, I mean, it's all positives. It really is. Yeah, it's still really, really frustrating that they didn't get what was needed in the summer, but potentially they go and get it in January. You know, we've been active in January in recent years, not this past season, because obviously with Jurgen leaving, they weren't willing to commit to signing anybody because it didn't make sense to sign anybody. Why would you sign a player for a manager who's leaving in 6 months? Why would, like, no club would do that? Well, United or Chelsea might, but I mean, we're not going to take their advantage or their example. No smart club would do that. And yeah, look, we've got the Champions League to come. It's a tough draw, but it's an exciting draw. And I know, like, a lot of people view the ticket price as too expensive, and in truth, they are too expensive, given that football's a sport followed mostly by working class people. But, you know, take a look at the Liverpool Champions League ticket prices, and then go take a look at the Aston Villa Champions League ticket prices, which are a scandal. And maybe our owners aren't quite as bad as people want to make them out to be. They're not perfect. There's things to really gripe about. But, you know, at least they're not price gouging to the extent that Villa's owners are. Liverpool have named their 24-man senior squad for the Champions League. So, Alisson, Queeving Kelleher, and Vital Yaros. I can't think of his first name. I think it's Vitislav. But Yaros is his surname. They're the three goalkeepers. The defenders, Van Dijk, Kanate, Gomez, Nalo, funnily enough, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, and Tsimikas. Now I'm seeing Niani's name as well. So I'm guessing it's because they haven't been at the club for 3 years, so they can't be on the B list, the 21 and under academy list. But interesting that Nalo has been named. Midfielders, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Jones, Endo, Morton, Niani, and Hill. The forwards, Salah, Diaz, Jota, Gakpo, Chiesa, and Nunes. That's a hell of a forward group. That really is a hell of a forward group. And then notable players who will be on the B list, Davies, Kwanzaa, Bradley, Elliott, McConnell, and Dans. They're obviously all academy grown. I know Harvey joined us at 16, but he's been at the club long enough to be classed as an academy trained player, given he landed at 16. It's a strong squad. Like, it is a strong squad. You'd like a better left-sided defender. You'd like a better six. But all things considered, it is a strong squad. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, so Trainiani and Amaranello have not been at the club long enough. And then Tom Hill is registered as well, because he was born before this season's cut off for the B list. Now, whether or not he'll ever play, I have no idea. He's born in 2002 and thus far has made one appearance for us in the first team in the EFL Cup a couple of years ago. So we'll see. I mean, actually, he played. Do you know when he played? He played in that game where all our players were going off to the Club World Cup against Villa. That's the game he played in. He suffered a torn ACL, which kept him out for quite a while, which probably cost him his chance of really getting an opportunity in the first team. But it's good to see he's been included here, and we'll see how he does if he gets on. Diogo Jota is already proving to be the ideal number 9 for Arne Slot's Liverpool. I think ideal is aggressive, but he has done very well. I think his intelligence, his game intelligence, his understanding of positioning and timing, they're what's going to sell him to Arne at the moment. Or Arne at the moment, because Darwin just doesn't have those things. Darwin doesn't have them at all. And obviously Jota is a more clinical finisher than Darwin. But in terms of the physical traits that we saw Arne want in his forward players at both Feyenoord and Alkmaar, Darwin does fit the bill a lot more. He just doesn't have the composure and the thought process that make it work, which is why I do think next summer, if we can get, assuming we get Mo, Virgil and Trent signed up, assuming we go in January and get maybe Zubimendi done, next summer I do think 9 will be a priority for them. I think they'll want to bring one in. I think Darwin will go. I think they'll want to bring one in. And I think they're going to look at someone like João Pedro at Brighton, someone who's kind of that 9-10 hybrid. Almost a Bobby type. I think that's what they'll want. Jimenez, Bobby was a 10 who played as a 9. Jimenez is a 9 who plays like a 10. João Pedro's a 9 who plays like a 10. So they're slightly more 9 than 10, as opposed to Bobby, who was always more 10 than 9. But I do think they fit that. They fit that mold of what we had with Bobby. I think João Pedro's probably the best one we could get. I know people will say, oh, but what about Isak? Newcastle are probably going to want 140 million for him. Just don't see us doing that. Whereas with João, it's still going to be very expensive. It's still going to be very, very expensive, but I do think it'll be more affordable. Gyökeres is another one that you could look at. And he's quite similar to Jimenez. He's a better player than Jimenez, but he's quite similar to Jimenez stylistically. But I think João just fits better. Mo Salah is desperate to put pen to paper on a new contract at Liverpool with no interest in Saudi Arabia and money not the deciding factor. So this is coming from Paul Gorst, who claims that multiple sources close to Salah have passed this information on. He doesn't want to be like Sadio, doesn't want to move on the way Sadio did and kind of have his career peter out.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, how to get 30, how to get 20, 20, 20, how to get 20, 20, how to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
At BlueNile.com, you can find endless ways to make your moments sparkle. From classic and timeless jewelry gifts to creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams, all at prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. And right now, you can save up to 40% on fine jewelry and 25% on engagement ring settings during the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale, going on now. Go to BlueNile.com to shop the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale and save up to 40%. That's BlueNile.com.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want. whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes and games consoles. Visit libertyshield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
Which is fair. But I mean, if you look at what Mo's doing now, it's a far cry from what Sadio was doing before he left the club, and Sadio was a few years younger. Sadio was not. He had a decent run as a 9, but he had been poor for 18 months before he got moved into that number 9 position. Never quite overcame COVID. Remember he got COVID? He got like long COVID or something. And it kind of ended him. He had that good run as a 9, but went to Bayern, was awful. And he's been in Saudi now, and he's been dreadful. And they were trying to get rid of him. Like when the Saudis think you're not good enough, that's when you have real issues. Look, there's no logical reason against not giving Mo a contract. None at all. And the thing with Mo is, I don't think money's going to be the deciding factor. Like, he currently earns a basic of around 350,000 a week, plus bonuses. But then he makes an absolute killing off the pitch through his endorsements, because Mo owns his own image rights. And they estimate he makes about £1 million a week. All things rolled into one. So even if I think the club offered him slightly less than he's on now, but with incentives that he could make it up, I do think he'll probably take it. And as I keep saying, I don't see any logical reason to not give him 3 years. I didn't understand the last time that we didn't give him 3 years as an extension. We gave him 3 years as a contract. It should have been a 3-year extension. There's no reason not to give him a 3-year extension from now. So 3 years after this one. He'll be 33 next summer. You are guaranteed he'll still be really, really, really good for at least 2 years of that. Because he takes such good care of himself. And even if there's a fall off then, once he passes 35, like, so what? So for what that fella's done for the club, you take 1 year of a bad deal if that is what comes to fruition. You take that and you take it on the chin and you say, you know what, that's fine. We've had him since 2017. He'll leave in 2028. 11 years. 1 season was bad, and what? And what? He gave us 10 great years. He repaid his transfer fee 15 times over. He won us a league title, he won us a Champions League. He might win us another league title and another Champions League if you give him the contract. So give him the contract. And while you're giving him a contract, give one to Virgil as well. The same thing. Give him 3 years. Give him 4 years. Virgil's a year older than Mo, but he plays the centre-back. And there's absolutely no sign of any real slippage with Virgil. Yeah, he's not the same player he was post or pre-ACL. But he's still by far the best centre-back in the world. It's not even close. It's genuinely not even close. And I keep seeing people suggest these different names. as Van Dijk's successors. Ousmane Diomande, Antonio Silva, obviously Lenny Yoro was one that was thrown about, Branthwaite. And I think, yeah, you know, these are good young centre-backs. And maybe one day they become great centre-backs. But you're talking about paying 80 million for them. And if they were to come in and replace Virgil, they're not half as good as he is right now. They're just not. They're not half as good for 80 million. And if they maximize their potential and become the very best version of themselves, maybe they become 60% of Virgil, 70% of Virgil. But they're never going to be as good as him. There isn't anybody around right now that's going to be as good as him. He is just a one-off. He's one of the greatest centre-backs to ever play the game. He may be the greatest centre-back to ever play the game when you factor in the entire skill set that comes with it. The size, the ball playing, the 1v1 ability, the aerial dominance, the pace, the sheer physicality of the man. The aura, the gravity he has when he goes forward for corners, how two defenders immediately start to just drift towards him, meaning someone else is free somewhere else. Like, you're just not going to find someone like him on the market who can come in and be even 75% of him. So you give him the contract. And again, if he gives you 2 great years and then 1 year where it's, you know, it's clear that the football is preparing to leave him, as Carragher might say, you just eat that last year of the contract and you say, you know what, fine. He joined in early 2028, he'd be leaving, or early 2018, he'd be leaving in 2028. We got 10 and a half years out of him. We lost a year to an ACL tear. He did have a poor enough season in 22-23. By his standards. By most other standards, it was absolutely fine. By his standards. So maybe you have to just put up with one poor season then at the end. But what about it? Again, he's repaid that transfer fee over and over and over again. Won us a league title, won us a Champions League. He might win us another one. He would have won us another one by now if certain decisions had been made the right way. He would have. He would have won us another Champions League as well. But it is what it is. But you owe it to them. Like, the club owes them these contracts. They say no player is bigger than the club, and that's true. But that doesn't mean that the club isn't indebted to certain players. And there's multiple players in this current team that the club should be massively indebted to. Alisson is another. Alisson is another one. Because Mo, like, it's different with Trent, because Trent came through the academy, he's a Liverpool lad, Liverpool was always his dream. Mo could have gone anywhere and could have pushed to leave a few years ago and go to Real Madrid or Barcelona in his peak. Virgil could have gone anywhere, had all the offers, turned them all down to join us. But again, could have gone to Real Madrid a couple of years ago. Could have gone to Barca, Bayern, wherever he wanted, PSG. Same with Ali. Like, these players have sacrificed a lot to play for Liverpool. You know, moving their families from different parts of the world to come and play for us. And they've given us incredible success. They should have had more. They deserved more. But the club owes them. The club now needs to be loyal to them the same way they were loyal to the club. They were underpaid for a long time. They're probably arguably still underpaid in terms of their basic wage at the club and what they take home from the club. Like, you don't think Van Dijk could have gone to Real Madrid and got 600 grand a week? Of course he could. They're paying Antonio Rudiger 350 grand a week. They're paying David Alaba 450 grand a week. You don't think they would have given Van Dijk 600 grand? You don't think there's clubs out there that would have broken the bank to pay Ali or to pay Mo? But yet they took less to play for Liverpool. So the club owes them. The club owes Virgil and it owes Alice, it owes Mo this summer. It owes them summer's gone. They owe them new contracts. And they owe them pretty much whatever terms those players ask for. Get those deals done. Get those deals done. People will always forgive not doing enough in a transfer window because you can make up for that in the next transfer window. People will not forgive if you allow Salah and Van Dijk, who, by the way, both still the best players in the world in their current positions, by quite a margin. Like, the gap from Mo to the next best right winger is not as big as the gap from Virgil to the next best centre back, but it's still sizable. It's still pretty sizable. What else do we have here? Luis Diaz has urged Liverpool to give Mo a new contract. Our new goalkeeper, Georgi Mamardashvili, has been nominated for the Yashin Award, but bizarrely none of our players were put up for the Ballon d'Or, which is weird. Arsenal have a whole bunch of players up. They won nothing last season. They finished one place ahead of us in the league. It's a bit odd. Harvey Elliott has returned to Liverpool after a fitness issue on international duty. So he will recuperate, and hopefully be good to train next week and get some additional time with the manager. Liverpool.com. What have you got for me? Liverpool's greatest ever Premier League player decided after Mo Salah's claim. The best player we've had in the Premier League era is Luis Suarez. But greatness involves longevity. And there's only 3 options. One of whom, by the way, is not pictured here. So in this picture, you've got Steven Gerrard, Robbie Fowler, and Mo Salah with the little inset of Suarez. Now, with the greatest of respect to Robbie Fowler, he wasn't even the best player in his Liverpool team. Steve McManaman was better than him. Fowler is more fondly remembered. Fowler was incredible. Steve McManaman was the best player we had in the 90s. Robbie Fowler is not in the conversation for Liverpool's greatest Premier League player. There's 3 names. There's Gerrard, there's Salah, and there's Van Dijk. And that's it. If we were talking best, then I would still say Suarez. But I think there's cases to be made for Gerrard, for Salah, and for Virgil. You could even throw Ali into this debate, to be honest. He certainly would be more fitting than Fowler. And I loved Fowler. I absolutely adored Robbie Fowler. But McManaman was the best player in that team. There's an article on Mamardashvili. There is a piece about Harvey coming back from the England camp, the 21s camp. Mohamed Salah, reality clear, and Sadio Mane proves it with Liverpool contract decision looming. I assume that's basically, a warning to Mo about going to Saudi, but Mo would go to Saudi and absolutely tear that league into smithereens. Sadio went there when he was washed. I interviewed Gaza's oldest fan who can't stop talking about Liverpool despite non-stop suffering. Let's check that one out. Liverpool's Federico Chiesa transfer vindicated after costly alternative suffers Ballon d'Or snub. I mean, that's a piece about Rodrigo, and that's a very silly comparison to try and make. Liverpool has ideal Mohamed Salah transfer replacement after Ballon d'Or news. I'm not surprised Mo wasn't nominated, to be quite clear, because he had the injury and then he wasn't particularly good the last couple of months of the season. So I'm not overly surprised that he wasn't nominated. Though I do think Declan Rice being nominated is laughable. And 6 England players being nominated for failing is just bizarre. Neither Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo were nominated. I'm a little bit surprised that Messi wasn't, given he won the Copa America. Now, I know he had to go off injured, but he won the Copa America. And he's still playing really well. But, I mean, Cristiano would have been a laughable inclusion. Ademola Lookman. Oh, Jesus wept. Is this piece about Ademola Lookman? It is. It is. It's about Ademola Lookman. Oh, Lord God. Let's just close that. Let's just close that. My good God. Ademola Lookman as a Liverpool player. No, thank you. What planet do these people live on? He is decent and nothing more. If he was 20 million and coming in as a squad player, you'd say fine. But other than that, no. As piece on Anfield Watch about the Champions League squad, Liverpool legend lashes out at Mo Salah over wrong comments. We'll have a look at that. Liverpool still have days to sign extraordinary midfielder for free this summer. I assume that's Adrian Rabiot. We'll have a look. There's a piece about Mamardashvili. Liverpool slot machine saw one fan hit the jackpot on Sunday. With Turo Endo, there's a piece about some clown blaming Anthony Taylor for us beating United. Former Liverpool man confirmed in major role after 6 years under Jurgen Klopp. So Jack Robinson, who was the assistant goalkeeping coach, is becoming head of goalkeeping at US Soccer. So fair play to him. That's a decent gig to get. Which Liverpool legend lashed out? I'm guessing Steve Nicol, Phil Thompson. Okay, well, Phil Thompson is a Liverpool legend, but he's also prone to talking absolute shite. So we won't put too much into that. Yeah, it is Adrian Rabiot. This piece about the exceptional midfielder. Look, Rabiot is a good player. He is a good player. There's no question. But he's a pain in the arse. And his mother, who's his agent, is an even bigger pain in the arse. I wouldn't be upset if we signed him. But I wouldn't give him anything more than a 2-year deal. That would be the maximum that you could look at there. We'll check out AnfieldIndex.com and see what is new. Right, article-wise, there is a piece on Szoboszlai, a piece on Liverpool's tactical setup against United, a piece about Rabiot, a piece about Salah being nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month, and a piece about Harvey dropping out of the England setup. Podcast-wise, there is the new transfer show, which is obviously Dave Davis and the good brother Trev Downey. There is the latest David Lynch podcast, and there is the new Scouted, which is myself and Carl talking about the first 3 games of the season, and then kind of going over some of the transfers that took place on or around deadline day, or the ones that have taken place since, with players going to Saudi and stuff like that. We've recorded today another one, and it will be It's basically we tried to fix Manchester United. And unsurprisingly, I did a better job than him. And he won't ever hear this, so he can't disagree. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your days. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.